We start off the next episode with them in the nurse's office, wearing track suits now, and while this nurse didn't make me go as crazy as Granny Psycho, I know for sure she was supposed to be at least 40. And my guys, she looks delicious for 40.
You's a freaky ass nigga!
Did Bo just describe a 40-plus-year-old nurse the same way that he describes hot wings? Yes. Yes, I did. Boy, if you don't... We see a teacher open the door without asking, and she takes her bedroom whip and goes to town on him. She was going so crazy on the old man, but I know he had to be feeling bliss. Had me wishing that old man was my shadow clone, because once she got done with him, I would have needed to know exactly what it felt like. The group starts to stress over how cooked their social lives are, and Okarun actually spells out that the aliens need to study them because they lack the ability to sample and study yokai themselves, so a sample of the powers that you can actually make contact with is actually a worthwhile collectible for experiments. Momo accepted the situation and was prepared to take the fall for the group's social death, but then the two bestie lackey characters from before make their appearance again. I'm starting to think that Momo's grandma might have had contact with Lady Tsunade, because that is the only healer that could have had these two back in class before the week was over, with the way Momo had them cooked the last time they got screen time. They raised a fuss at Okarun and Momo and steal Ira back to her class. This means that Okarun finally gets the ISO again and takes his time to clarify that he has been working out in private to get stronger for Momo and how he ended up on top of Ira when Momo had seen them. He gets flustered and Momo starts to cheese a little bit, and then things get really sweet and we think they'll get to ride their relationship train off into the sunset. We see Ira cooking in class and they all pander and fall in line with her words, and we even see her hiding a smile deviously because she knows how crazy she just cooked with her gift of gab and power to persuade. But then her two bestie lackeys start to flame Momo in front of everybody as if they didn't just try to illegally exorcise her 2 episodes ago. And when I tell you these clowns ate that garbage up, bro, you would have thought it was a baddie when they see a seafood boil, dude. They were ready to get on Momo immediately. But finally deciding to be accountable, unlike most women, she admits that Momo wasn't the problem and even dropped the bombshell truth that she was the one spreading the rumor about Momo being freaky. She left the room dejectedly and goes outside to sulk. Momo runs into her, and when Ira tries to deny what happened, Momo calls her bluff because she already knew. We then see the boxing monster from the school pop up looking absolutely fried, and he falls to the ground in tears before we hear the backstory of his life. He came on the mission to get money from the 3 Gooners to help his sick child who seems to be constantly in need of blood transfusions. They end up back at Momo's place and nurse him back to health with bandages and food before Granny Psycho reveals that the white substance on him that he had when he first appeared was his blood, and it also smelled suspiciously like milk. This led to the discovery that they essentially have milk for blood, making the solution for the alien extremely simple. Next thing you know, we see him getting sent home with a good old cow in tow to save his son. The main problem remaining is the fact that we have the trio of goofballs with no clothes, and that leads to Momo scheming for them to collectively ask her grandma for them. But that doesn't exactly work because she sees through it and tells Momo to answer the door using an impression that she used to do a while ago in full character if she really wants to get hers that bad. This made quite a sight when she finally committed and opened the door to see her childhood friend Gigi, who she also had a crush on at the beginning of the show, right there, front and center. Honestly, Okarun has been through enough, bro. Alien after alien, yokai after yokai, bully after bully. Now he has to go toe-to-toe with the stylish, dripped out, earring wearing, charismatic first love interest? Bro, come on! I'd like to take a short intermission here and ask you guys to like and subscribe to the channel since you liked the video enough to watch this far. And you might as well join the Discord in the description as well to join a community of like-minded anime enjoyers and become part of the video creation process. Now, back to the show. We get the Gigi backstory and find out that he moved away at a young age and ended up in a house in the woods with his parents, but ended up constantly seeing an entity that was literally so powerful that it could sicken his parents, that led to exorcists and spiritual leaders being summoned to do away with it. Bro, 3 out of the 5 of them that came died. It got that bad, and they said, you know what? Go to Granny Psycho and let her do something about it.
Subscribe to Post on
we had to still come in and flip. Started out riding Batman with the Gigi when that shit didn't work, talk to pop about the chick. All of them talking my badass, still ain't listen, was living, but taught me.
We open up this episode with Gigi having the opportunity to introduce himself to the class and Aura Farm, and somehow it worked. On the girls at least. Meanwhile, the guys were sick because number 1, he was annoying, and number 2, he was good looking, which meant that was more comp for them now. Gigi's the type of guy you don't want in your friend group, bro. Dude has the look but not the mental drip to put with it. Out here shooting the most egregious shot selection that would put a washed Paul George to shame. Bro told the girl in the first row that he would erase himself from the plane of existence if she didn't slide him her number.
Really, nigga?
And you know what? That shit worked! He greened! This is like having a female friend that tells you that guys always send unsolicited meat pics and you wonder what clowns really think that's Riz. Then you come to the conclusion that out of the 20 times they've shot that shot, at least 1 or 2 girls had to respond favorably for them to keep gambling like that. Bro, she is those girls! Bro slid down the aisle like he was prime Michael Jackson, and you could tell from the boys' expressions that they were sick, but somehow the girls were mesmerized. That's not even the worst part. Bro said that Momo and him knew each other because they were lovers? Like, bro, are you sick in the head, you clown? Some people were in an uproar on Twitter about him, and I thought, how bad can he actually be? Only for him to take my expectations and violently dunk them in a trash can. Luckily, one of Momo's besties ran interference and shut that mess down expeditiously. Meanwhile, Okarun was going through it and drawing in his notebook, trying to keep himself sane. But you know our GOAT and our young king wasn't about to let this minor setback damage his ability to get the job done. So he still goes to work out behind the school building during lunch. Momo pops around the corner and he immediately hits the cancel action button and takes a dive for the bushes like he was a missile or something. Momo says she came to watch him work out while eating lunch and even agreed to feed him while he worked out. Pretty girl, feeding me lunch while I work out? Sounds like peak to me. But you know, Okarun couldn't have that, and Gigi pops around the corner to chop it up with Momo and share lunch. Okarun pulls a me and decides that it's more trouble than it's worth and elects to fade from Momo's existence so that he's not in the way. But he can't do that either, because we see a biology atomical model come flying around the building at full race pace before Okarun tries to run away from it. The biology doll then outruns Okarun and throws him to the concrete before continuing towards Momo and Gigi. Gigi immediately attempts to do the dash like a cupcake and doubles back to tackle Momo out of the way when he realized that she wasn't also running. She sees something golden that looked like it could have been Okarun's missing ball, and so she grabs onto the biology doll, but honestly she can't even do anything because of Gigi and ends up getting dragged along for the ride. Okarun takes off his shoes and socks and preps himself to go Super Saiyan emo before catching up to them with ease. Him and Momo cook up a scheme to save Momo and Gigi, who literally get launched into the air before catching them again and continuing their chase. They end up finding the biology doll in a junkyard where he explained that he was searching for his love, and he explained that life changed when he met her, which properly flipped a switch in Okarun's head when it came to Momo. This is one of those moments where I had to give credit where credit is due, because they really went out of their way to accentuate and just show just how much this anatomical doll loved his lady. And they have their cute little scene right there at the top of the junk pile. And then you see Okarun really come to the realization that he loves Ayase. And that, honestly, to me, really made this episode peak. We then see them beg Granny Psycho to keep the girl biology doll so that way the boy can always visit her at night, and she agrees to do it. We find out that he wasn't powered by Okarun's other ball, but instead it was a Christmas ornament attached to his no-no square. Okarun later agreed to assist Momo when it came to dealing with Gigi's dilemma. Meanwhile, he was getting assaulted by the cat version of Turbo Granny in the process. We see the boy biology doll almost get cooked when trying to see his girl one night, and simultaneously we see Gigi tweaking in his room because the guy that was in his original home in the woods was continuing to pester him. Bro couldn't even get an ounce of sleep even if he wanted to. We see them taking a train the next morning over to Gigi's spot in order to investigate, and the usual shenanigans were afoot. Gigi attempting to riz Momo but failing after that egregious showing when they faced the boy biology doll last time, and then Ken obviously trying to break it up and using his occult knowledge to pull away Gigi's attention from Momo. It surprisingly works, and Gigi ends up bonding with Okarun about the topic. They managed to make it to Gigi's place after climbing a mountain town for what seemed like forever, and nothing appeared to be concerning with the house being spotless and no signs of aliens or spirits, which was unusual. Momo then scampers off to the hot spring while Ken and Gigi goof around for a bit. This is short-lived because she runs into yet another jumping from 4 old weirdos in the hot spring, dude. Back at the crib, Gigi and Okaroon peep that there's an extra room that you can see from the outside of the house, but from the inside of the house, there's nothing there. So they end up heading inside, and Gigi takes a literal sledgehammer to the wall in order to find out what lay behind it. Needless to say, something is going to tell me that they'll wish they hadn't looked, because the entire room is covered in what appeared to be paper talismans, from the floor to the walls to the ceiling. Season 2 kicks off right around the corner, and it'll be interesting to see how things actually pan out for our lovely group of heroes, and I look forward to seeing what more this series has to offer. If you enjoyed this video and made it to the end, do me a favor and like the video, subscribe, and watch another video on the channel. And without any further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Your theme is peace.